Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK Journey video. We have the skill trailer for Perseus, who will be the first raid up hero of Season 5 Thorns of Devotion. And based on the Pioneer server so far, he is looking like a beast. So let's go ahead and go through this trailer.
Divine Spear! Strike true!
Look at him. Young, commanding, decisive. Reminds me of myself back in the day. We've both tasted the blood and smoke of battle. We know the price of war.
Specialize in AFK stages and Supreme Arena. However, from testing on Pioneer, looking like specializing even in regular arena as well. AFK stages also is looking like a good mode for him. He has a lot of tankiness. He also has high damage output. He is synergizing with other sort of buffers like Shakir, Smokey, because he gets benefit when allies are able to buff him.
I raised my sword to defend the Empire. Perseus took up spear and shield to protect his city. His spear drives back the enemy. His shield protects his people. When casting Divine Rend, Perseus marches forward in a chosen direction, dazzling enemies with his masterful spear work.
So with this ultimate, he's going to march in a line, as you saw, like a 3-tile wide line, and it is going to hit the enemy multiple times, knocking them back, and then finally he's going to shield slam them and stun them for 2 seconds. And Perseus will be unaffected while casting the skill. The damage output from this ultimate is pretty high multipliers, and because it can hit multiple enemies, and like if it can hit like a grouped up enemy team in AFK stages, there's a lot of value to be had from this ultimate.
As he advances, Perseus deals damage to nearby enemies multiple times, knocking them back in the direction of his march. At the end of the march, he performs a mighty shield bash, dealing damage to all enemies within range and stunning them. Perseus never hesitates on the battlefield. When casting Spear-Shield combo, Perseus strikes nearby enemies with both spear and shield. With his spear, he deals damage to nearby enemies. With his shield, he deals damage to all nearby enemies.
Okay, it's just funny to me, the wording of that. With his spear, he deals damage to nearby enemies. With his shield, he deals damage to all nearby enemies. But I guess it's just kind of like an explosion around him. But either way, it deals some minor damage. That is not really the major point of it. It is also that it gives himself a shield. You see this blue shield that he gains, and that is going to be powerful. And while the shield lasts, his attack speed will be increased, and Perseus scales really hard off of buffs, as we'll see later.
And converts a percentage of that damage into shield value for himself. While that shield lasts, his attack speed increases. His spear spares lives by ending battles quickly. His shield saves lives by holding the line. Perseus also carries the mysterious blessing of bountiful grace. As long as Perseus hasn't taken heavy damage, the ground around him turns fertile. Allies standing on this fertile ground gain a boost to their attack and physical and magic defense.
So this fertile ground skill is very powerful because it's going to buff up himself, being Perseus, and also the however many allies are within the 2-tile radius of this effect. This effect is going to last until Perseus's health drops below 40% of his initial maximum health, and then the crops are going to wither away. That's why they were saying as long as his health is high enough. And this is going to be an attack and defense buff for all allies within the range.
When Perseus's health drops below a certain level for the first time, he draws power from the ground, increasing his max health permanently.
So this is the other thing. When he takes damage to drop him below 40% of his health, he's going to increase his maximum health. As you see here, this grayed out green bar at the end. And also he's going to get instant healing of around, this is going to be 60% of his initial maximum health. That was based on the skill description. And so he has a lot of survival basically inbuilt into his kit.
And healing himself for the same amount. Once this power is drawn, the fertile ground withers away.
Yeah, but this is the issue. The fertile ground is destroyed, and no longer will he be buffing himself or allies within range. What is strange here is this amount of initial, like, increase in maximum health doesn't seem like it would be 60%. It seems like a much smaller amount than that, at least based on this skill trailer. However, on the Pioneer server wording, it is currently 60%.
With his exclusive skill unlocked, Perseus gains stronger effects from any temporary buffs he receives. Each temporary buff from a different ally also increases Perseus' damage dealt and reduces his damage taken.
This is the crazy thing. His Divine Grace skill is completely stacked. And I'll talk about the numbers currently on the Pioneer server. But as you see here, each buff he receives, a temporary buff from an ally, he's actually getting double buffs onto himself. Now, it's not exactly double. They're going to be amplified by 40%. So, for example, if he's getting a 20% attack buff from Smokey, he's also going to get 40% of that as a bonus, so that's going to be another 8%. So, 28% attack buff in total from Smokey rather than 20%. And that is going to work for every single buff, temporary buff that an ally provides to him, and that's why he does so well with buffers. But on top of that, if you have a temporary buff granted by an ally onto Perseus, he's also going to gain damage boost and damage reduction by 15% each, and this can stack 4 times. So it will be up to a 60% damage boost and 60% damage reduction if you have 4 temporary buffs from allies onto Perseus, and that is when things just get crazy, because not only is he getting more value out of each buff onto him, he's also getting this massive damage reduction and damage boost, which is going to make him survive really easily and also deal really high damage. And now this is the Pioneer server numbers. As he says on Pioneer server, he is broken. So I don't know if changes are going to happen or not in my global server, but let's just keep seeing this.
This effect stacks, but only up to a certain limit.
Yeah, like, look at him.
In short,
so Perseus is just demolishing the opponent. But there is one more thing that I want to touch on, which is that also, he is going to convert his damage into true damage with it. I believe it is with his exclusive skill. So his damage from all sources is going to be converted to true damage when you have enough buffs stacked, or if you have exclusive skill upgrade. They don't mention it in this trailer, but that's just another thing on top of it. So not only is he just having like massive buffing and damage boosting, he's also getting his damage converted into true damage, which is just ridiculous. And if you just take a look at this, how he's demolishing the enemy here, you're just gonna see, look at this, when Perseus gets set up.
This effect stacks, but only up to a certain limit.
Like, he's just shred. All the damage is coming from Perseus, and as soon as he got all buffed up and ready to go, he is just demolishing the enemy team.
In short, stacks, but only up to a...
And you can even see, I think you can see that this is true damage, because the damage hitting Kruger here is in white. When it is in white, I believe that means it is the true damage. I'm pretty sure about that.
But only up to a certain limit.
Like, look at that. 1128k, all in white. That is, and then it quit with the white. That is the true damage, I believe.
In short, Perseus wields his spear and shield with versatile combat techniques. Blessed by bountiful grace, he can grant his allies powerful buffs. At the same time, any temporary buffs his allies give him only make him even stronger. Let's look back on one of his most famous victories. He led the charge, with fertile ground spreading beneath him to boost his frontline allies.
So maybe the only way to counter Perseus is just nuke him really, really quickly before he's able to get set up and going. But once he has that 60% damage boost from getting 4 temporary buffs, is like he's unkillable at that point. Now he's just gonna shred the entire enemy team.
Allies kept buffing him with
it's just over.
Amplifying
this also is just gonna kill everything
with his offense and defense. Under Perseus' leadership, his team grew stronger with each passing moment, and eventually secured victory. But Perseus doesn't actually like these head-on clashes. He'd rather end a battle with strategy before it even begins. After all, when armies clash, lives are lost. Maybe that's why so many people look up to him. I, General Hogan, have great respect for people like that. Clever and dependable. And Perseus embodies both qualities.
Okay, so Perseus, he is, as of right now, as of the Pioneer server kit that he is looking broken. He is looking very, very strong. We'll have to wait and see exactly what type of kit he's going to be released with. But really, I want to go back to this exclusive skill here because that's when we saw it the best. The damage output is going to be seen the best on this basically portion of the trailer, where he has the maximum buffs, he has a damage boost, and he's hitting this Kruger with true damage. Like, watch how he's just bursting through the Kruger.
Exclusive skill unlocked,
And that's a white true damage.
Perseus gains stronger effects from any temporary buffs he receives.
Like that shred, that is basically what Perseus is doing on the Pioneer server, and that is why he is so strong. He also has massive damage reduction, he has the damage boost, he has the shielding for himself, he has an instant health recovery when he drops to 40% health, and also increasing his own maximum health. All of these things give him a lot of survivability. He can get set up really quickly with that maximum damage reduction and damage boost, and he can just destroy things. And also have really high damage output, as you saw right there. So really, this is the thing about Perseus. If he is released like he currently is, he's going to be basically a must pull. Now, I don't know if he's even going to be good for Dream Realm. Honestly, with all the buffs he has, the damage boost he has, there could even be some potential use of him in Dream Realm because he also buffs allies. Keep that in mind. His fertile field is going to buff allies. However, I'm not sure. That definitely is not the game mode he's suited for, but because he seems like kind of overtuned at this moment, he could be good everywhere. In PvP, definitely he's good. You just like people, what they're running on Pioneer, they're running Ravion to buff Perseus further because Perseus scales so well off of buffs. And just like give him some more forms of buffing, and then Perseus just basically solos an enemy team. Other than that, in AFK stages, I think he's probably going to be good. He has that great crowd control onto enemies who are grouped up into like, because he can hit them all with his ultimate. And that's just a lot of crowd control. He also has high damage. He has the tanking capability of taking a lot of damage from an enemy team, especially with all of his buffs. He can have that massive damage reduction, 60% currently. So that's really the thing about Perseus. He's looking solid, and if he stays as he is, he's probably going to be must-pull status. But let's see what happens on his official release on the VN server, because that is when we know the stats that a hero is going to have, the skill description a hero is going to have, because right now it is in testing in Pioneer server, so we can't say for sure this is exactly how he's going to release. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts about Perseus in the comment section down below. If you guys are not already a member of my AFK Journey Discord server, please join that. There's a link to that in the description of this video. And also, if you're thinking about making a purchase in AFK Journey, please use my affiliate link for the official Firelight store. There is a link to that in the description of this video, and a pinned comment. There's the best way you can support me and also gain 5% bonus dragon crystals on your purchase. So thanks for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next video, and until then, everyone, peace out for now.